Yeah, I'm just going to do a quick video because it'll be a lot easier. So the SMT that I mentioned earlier, so you'll see here, right, that you've got, see this candle here? It's the 315 if you look at the bottom here, right? 315 candle, and it runs all the liquidity, right? So from the top of here along, it runs that, okay? Now, if we go and look at EU, so you've also got, this is the Asian range overnight, right? So we've come up, we've taken the Asian range. This 315 candle has manipulated higher and taken that liquidity. Now, on EU, if I have a look here, right? So the 315 candle had ran everything. So there, that's the 315 candle, and you can see it's failed to take this low and it's failed to take this Asian range, right? So when that's happened, mate, what actually happens here is the 315 candle, it's taken the previous highs. It couldn't on EU, it couldn't take the lows. Now, this actually becomes your protected high because that's where the SMT is, right? So if you did have a trade, this would be like the invalidation point that it would, right? So you could have a trade on EU and you can have maybe an alert on here saying, right, if we invalidate here, then the reason I'm saying this, mate, because we've left so much liquidity here, right? So we've got just the bottom of the Asian range. We've got this in here that just left liquidity. So there's every chance that we're going to come lower to run this, right? But it probably wouldn't because this is where the SMT occurred and it's ran the liquidity already. It's probably not going to invalidate this level. This is what's so important about SMT. Like you can use that as your guide because once that happens, you're thinking, I was thinking, it's not going to come back up into there. So although it's manipulated here at 345 lower and it's taken out all this, it didn't manage to do that here on 345. It didn't get back above here because this is where the right manipulation happened, right? So something to bear in mind, there was cause to come lower because we'd taken the Asian range up here. I still had the bias that we're going to come lower. And to be honest, I think this is probably just a bit of manipulation here. We'll probably come up, take these highs, and then I think we'll probably roll over again, but we'll wait and see. For me, this would be an area that I'm looking at, right, as we look at this afternoon there. So what happens? It's actually ran that, look. It's tapped up, it's taken as high, it's tapped into the fair value gap, and now we might reject and come lower again. But this would be an area now that I'm looking at to see, right, if we can get above here, then we might be going higher. But I would expect this to resist, but we'll see. So hopefully that helps a little bit with SMT. What I can start to do is I'll add more stuff to the SMT section. But it's important to cross check the DXY and EU to see which one's doing what. And it was interesting that we took that high, we then rejected, and then in here we never managed to get back up above it, but we did on EU down here, right? But understanding that liquidity was left there, so there was every chance it comes down lower. Another thing that I'll say is when I looked at this, it's actually a great trade here, right? Because this, I'm going to put a line across here, right? So we've got this all along here is liquidity. We run the liquidity fast, and then look how quick we reject, right? So see these two down close candles? Because that's ran all that liquidity, this is a bullish order block, as ICT would say. So the top of here, along, I'm going to make that thicker, right? And I'm going to put bullish OB, capitals. Bullish order block. So once that breaks above there and we get this coming down, that's a trade, right? For higher prices. Purely because it's ran all that liquidity and it's rejected straight away. And what you shouldn't see as well is 50% of this. So see this order block down to here, there. We shouldn't see price come back down into here. You would be able to have your stop just under here, So a relatively short stop, and you could be aiming for 1 to 2, and you would have got it pretty quick, right? But I think I've spoke about order blocks. So again, that's that V-shaped recovery that I've mentioned to you before. Like once you see this and it's ran liquidity, then it's a trade. As soon as price comes back down into the top of this order block, that's a trade. Okay, mate. Hopefully that's helpful. If you need anything else, then just give us a shout, and I'll run over it.